Is that any better? Can you hear it or no?
Whether it's Amazon,
Yeah, we can hear it.
Shopify, your own website, wherever you're selling, you want your images to stand out from the competition to communicate trust to the client and to increase your sales. So where can we start in making these amazing images? So the first thing I would say is, how can we show the best qualities of the product? Is it the texture, the finish, the size, whatever the unique qualities are? First and foremost, we figure out how we can highlight those with the lighting, the surface, the background, the layout. What can we do to make your products look their absolute best? Secondly, we need to find the best products that you have. Often the corners are damaged, boxes. Not every product, especially if it's handmade, is completely perfect. So going through multiple products, at least finding 3 of each that are pristine, labels are perfectly square, that's one of a major step to getting those very pristine product images. And the third step is understanding the layout for where the images are going to be used. Is it going to be a real wide header shot for your website or a tall and narrow sidebar? Is it just Facebook, Instagram, whether portrait or landscape? So understanding where the images are going to be used can help us design layouts that fit in these various scenarios so that no matter where the image is, it looks great. So if you're looking to freshen up your images and you'd like to talk about what we can do to make them look outstanding and increase your sales, go ahead, give me a call, and I look forward to working with you.
Cool. Yeah. So that looks actually, it looks good. The content is really strong. Couple things that this video gives us examples of that that are considerations. The video looked good. You could just use it as far as the video. Generally, having a backlight situation like the really bright sky behind isn't a super good idea, albeit you didn't really silhouette. Your camera did adjust pretty well for it, and your face was pretty well exposed. Now, all the tree movement,
Yeah.
when you have...
I just want to say, it was just a draft. Like, the lighting and all of that was not, all I was doing was trying to get the content and get that. And you can tell I was kind of like stuttering at some part, hard to get that smooth.
Yeah. Well, each time you do it, you get more comfortable with it and stuff. So that's a great, great plan to just practice like that, see how you look, experiment with different things. But just to let everybody know, if you shoot outdoors and it's a little windy and there's a lot of movement in the trees, that can create a situation where when you're serving that video out on online, if someone doesn't have a really fast internet connection, YouTube or whatever, Facebook, whoever's serving that video out, all of that movement in the background of the trees and stuff actually makes the resolution, the ability to
render,
encode that video and keep all of those moving leaves and stuff sharp. What it does is it buffers it reduces the resolution in order to handle all of the changing data. Like right now, you're looking at me. The software, when you upload this video, the software identifies that all of these pixels out here that are static aren't changing, other than when my hand overlaps over it. So say I'm just staying right in here. The software realizes that really only this part here has changing data. everything else is static. So it just duplicates those pixels, and it reduces the amount of data that has to be transferred in order to maintain all of this surrounding frame. That gives it more bandwidth to dedicate to me, to whatever's moving, and it can increase the resolution on me. So just to keep in mind, if you choose a background where you've got some movement like that, it's going to reduce the quality overall of your image when it's serving it out. It's going to reduce the resolution so it can handle all the changing data in the entire frame. And so that's just one thing to factor in if you are going to be shooting outside and it's a little bit of a windy day. Just one thing to factor in. But otherwise, I think it was a really strong start. I think if you experiment, practice a couple more times, get really comfortable so that your presentation feels flowy, that you're not sensing those hesitations and kind of stopping to think a lot. And again, these are really conversational, so it's okay if we pause to consider or search for a word. All that kind of stuff's no problem. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you can practice until you're really comfortable with it. Do it a few times until you've got a take you really like. Content was strong. I really like that. And otherwise, I would maybe choose a setting that, like where you're at now, if you took some of the nooks behind you and really kind of did some set dressing, used each nook to place some items, some books, some things, that could be a really nice background right where you're at. And the light on you looks really nice. So right where you're at could be a really good setting for these. If you just kind of played with your background and, kind of did some set dressing. But that's a really great start. Just keep working on your presentation, getting comfortable with it, and fine tune your background. But by and large, it's really good.
Thank you.
Stephanie, we had thought about doing ours outside also.
I said no.
And I was going, yeah, your dog was killing it in the background. I was going, oh, how cute. You don't want the dog to offset. So, Ruth, you want to try yours?
I'm on my cell phone. You'll have to show it.
Oh, I will. Where is it? Located.
Oh.
She sent me a YouTube link when I looked at it. So if you just go to that YouTube.
Okay. Well, if Cindy's ready, we'll do Cindy. I don't have the email.
You're muted, Cindy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll try this. I've not done this before.
Evan?
Share screen.
I'm sitting here in my spa room where the magic happens. I'm looking over my new mineral eyeshadows that just came in, and what I'm offering
Can you hear it or see it?
is for you to choose your
I can hear it, but we can't see.
Oh, you haven't shared your screen yet. There's a green button that says share a screen.
Yeah, I have it. I have
You want to click that. There you go.
There. Okay, so now I want to pull up my, there it is.
Yep.
Let me try. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Develop Beauty Solutions, and I am sitting here in my spa room where the magic happens. I'm looking over my new mineral eyeshadows.
Oops.
And what I'm offering today is for you to choose your 4 favorite colors. So instead of buying a compact that has 4 colors that you may only use 1 or 2, toss the other 2 away, you will choose the colors you want in here, and you'll use all of them. And you get to pick and choose the colors that go well with your eye color, your skin complexion, your hair. And sometimes it's just we all have our favorite colors. And therefore, you can fill this compact with the colors that you know you will use, and there will be no waste. Some of the colors that I have, particularly now trending, are the blues. I have navy, I have Ice Ice Baby, and blue jean. And then I also have an antique and a brown suede that are absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, I have quite a few colors. I'm going to post, after I post this video, I will post the colors in this post and let you know what the names of them are. So if you would like to message me and create your own custom compact, I'd be very happy to do that for you. I have a very limited supply, so the first 6 people that do get back to me, they can choose their own colors, and I will get that compact to you as soon as I can. Anyway, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, and I look forward to doing that for you.
Ow.
Give it to me. Ouch. I know. I'm looking at it myself going, oh, God. All right.
That was really good, actually. No, I think there's a lot of really great stuff going on there. The content was, you looked really confident. You came across really well. I really liked the fact that you made an offer. You talked about the options. You gave them an offer. The whole thing was, as far as the content was great. I don't know how you could improve much on the content. I would say from the quality of the image, as far as the framing and stuff, a couple things I would do is I would lift your computer up a little higher, your camera up a little higher, so that we got a little bit higher angle on you. We're not seeing that vent up there by the ceiling. We're seeing more of the stuff off to your right. And the framing was a lot tighter on the video you just showed us than it is right now on you. I felt it was a little too tight. I think the framing that we've got on you now is actually preferable. You were shifted a little more to the left where we're seeing more of that mirror and some of the thing hanging on the door. I liked all of that. The background looked really good. I just think we could frame it a little wider and from a little higher angle. And that would be, I think, a big improvement on just the visual, the framing, the composition. But content-wise, that was really strong. Improved the composition a little bit there. And man, I think you're in good shape.
What about the lighting? Thank you, Evan. What about the lighting? I have a window here, and sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not so bad. That day it was a little bright, but
I thought the lighting looked good. Actually, and interestingly enough, the color balance on the video you just showed us was better than the color balance currently I'm seeing on the Zoom image. You look a lot whiter, a lot bluer now, whereas your skin tones were a lot more amber, a lot more rosy in the video. So these webcams are going to automatically white balance each time you turn them on, and it may change from video to video. That's one of the challenges of using these cameras, that you can't manually control the white balance. But overall, I thought the color balance looked good. The lighting looked good.
thank you.
Nice.
That didn't hurt us so bad.
Yeah. Okay, this one I'm going to share. Ruth did this herself. I had a little help with the writing, but very little. So let me go ahead and share it. Okay. Stop. Okay.
You have no control over that child.
Mute. And then let's try.
Want to know how much a website costs? Well, you come to the right place. The answer is it depends. Websites can have a variety of costs. It all depends on your goals and which kind of website you do. There is everything from a one-page website to a custom-built, feature-rich website, all fancy bells and whistles. What you need to think about is your realistic budget for your website. We encourage you to sit down with us, or these days Zoom, and we can discuss what your goals are, get to know you, and what you want for your website. We will then draft a proposal catered to you and your goals. And don't worry, you don't have to start with all fancy bells and whistles and all the feature-rich options right away. You can add those down the line. Good thing to know, we will grow with you. If you have a set budget, we will work around your budget. We can always add enhanced functionalities later down the road. Look forward to meeting you.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ruth shared that with me earlier in the week. I thought it was really good. I really love the light on her. She looks really, really good. I like the graphics they added. That was fun. The little thing in the corner, and the bullet. You can add bullet lists or lower thirds or whatever. So that was really good. She didn't really like the jump cuts. You notice that each take there was a little cut in between. That's something that we're seeing so commonly now on YouTube that people just almost don't even care anymore. It might bother you, but I don't think most of viewers even care. They're listening to the content. But I was explaining to her, if you don't like those kind of jump cuts, one thing you can do is move your camera away from you a little bit more, get a little wider shot, like say the original shot is this wide. These cameras almost always are recording in 4K. And when you're editing, if you create a 1080 project and put that 4K video in there, you can go ahead and zoom in then on a tighter shot like this and cut from this wider shot to the tighter shot each time you have one of those cuts. And then it's like you've got two cameras and you're just cutting from one camera to the other. Now, she had to cut almost every sentence. And that's going to give you what we call the yo-yo, cut, 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 cut. Every sentence is wide, tight, wide, tight. So if you're going to do that, you probably will want to practice and learn longer segments so that you're not cutting quite so often. So you have a nice introductory with the wide thing, then you cut to another good section, maybe 3 sentences, 4 sentences, and then you cut back to another. So you'll want to practice and go over and over until you got a really good take of a longer piece. And you can do that also to avoid more cuts. Just, practicing and getting comfortable with a longer segment of content so you have fewer of those cuts. But by and large, I thought it was really good. I think the framing, again, you saw she was kind of more in the bottom half, like she is now in her image. That typically you want to move your camera down so that you don't have quite as much room over your, something like that is much more comfortable. Now we're not seeing the nice picture up behind you, so if you wanted to compromise, you could even raise yourself up or move your computer down physically. I don't know if it's up on something. That's a really complimentary angle down on you. But if we move the computer down, we would see less headroom and more of the picture and the background behind you if that's really something you want to feature. But from composition-wise, you can improve a little bit with less headroom. Content-wise, really strong. Loved the graphics, loved the lighting. Everything else was just really, really great. And if you're editing and you want to, rather than that really abrupt ending, and with that ending, I would do an invitation. I would say, if you would like help on your website, please reach out to us through our website, blah, 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 or call us at X. And give an invitation at the end. And then if you're editing and you want to go ahead and bring in your logo and the website and the phone number at the end too, then that gives them the visual of the website and the phone number along with you mentioning it. But otherwise, boy, that was really, really good.
Evan, I have a question just on, it leads into your delivery, where we're going to put these videos and where we're going to have people see them. When I did my first Facebook video, I learned a lot about video after I posted it. Like, people aren't going to listen to a 10-minute video, and that 85% of people don't listen to any sound because usually they're at work, and so they leave the sound off. And so how often do we need to be having, Ruth put budget and she put some other words up there. How often should we be putting content in our videos so that if we're in one of those areas, they understand what they say without the sound?
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to talk about in my presentation about uploading and sharing captions. Captions are really important, and I'll go through that with you. Did we have anyone else that had examples they wanted to share, or shall we do that next? Okay, well, let me share my screen then and share. Everybody getting that?
Yeah,
okay.
we can see it.
Great. So if you recall, on our first session, we went through the the whys and how to identify your top 10 and how to script your videos. And then the second session, we talked about how to film your own videos, the tools you have, how to practice and prepare. And so today we're talking about integrating the videos into your marketing strategy. And this is the most important part. You can have a really, really great video or a great series of videos, but if you don't share them effectively, you're not going to get any views and you're not going to get any benefit from it. So the first thing you want to do is upload the video to YouTube. That's going to be the best place to serve the video out on your website. And it's also, remember we talked about in session 1, Google now indexes and transcribes YouTube videos. It also takes into account in your ranking YouTube content and the relevancy and volume of YouTube content relative to your website. So uploading these videos to YouTube, when these videos contain content, keywords, key terms, tags, descriptions, titles that are all similar to the content that YouTube is indexing in your website, that actually brings your ranking up. And not only your website, but your YouTube content is going to be served out in priority over other websites and other people's video content. So say in Tucson, there's 3 pest control companies, and one pest control company has a really strong website with SEO, a lot of strategically used keywords and terms, and tags and all of that. Their SEO on their website strong. And you have a series of these FAQ videos on your website that have the same keywords and terms, same topics, a lot of similar content to your website. Immediately, Google is going to rank your content above your competitors who don't have all those things in order. So it's super important as a part of your SEO and your strategy to get your website listing above others and get your video showing up above other people's contents. So uploading those videos to YouTube is super important. We'll talk in a minute about some of the things we want to make sure we're including when we upload to YouTube. Next, we want to, once we've uploaded those to YouTube, we want to use the YouTube embed feature to create an FAQ page on your website. And so now your website has, you've got a FAQ menu item in your menu. And when people click that, it takes them to a page on your website that has this knowledge base. It has each question that you are answering with the video. And there's a couple ways you can do this. You can have the question with just a very short answer and the video. So people can read the really short answer, or they can watch the video to get a lot more information about that question. Or you can have each question as a link to a landing page, where on the landing page, you answer the question in length in text, and you also have the video available for those who would prefer to watch the video. That way, those who prefer to just scan through the text and get their question answered quickly can do so. Those who want to take the time to watch the video can do so. You've got both in one place. That requires you to create a separate page for each question. And so that's a little more work, a little more content. But again, all the better, because Google indexes each of those pages. It increases your ranking because you have a lot more relevant content. And especially if you add one of those FAQs every week or so, rather than putting them all up at once, over time, add a topic every week or so, share it out to your social media, share it out to your email newsletters. That's what we're going to talk about next. A website blog topic. So you can create that FAQ page with a list of all of your questions you answer, all your FAQs. If you create a landing page for each of those questions, those are really basically articles now, right? So that's a blog. And that landing page where you've got the text of your entire, topic, plus the video embedded there for those who want to watch the video. You've tagged that with relevant, keywords and terms. that now becomes a landing page that you can share out to your social media. So you can do two different. You can use these in two different ways on social media. You can just take the video and you can post it to your Facebook page and just share it out that way. So people watch the video, and in the description you want a link to your website, you want a call to action, you want some way for them to click through to hire you, to reach you with further questions, whatever, to take action. Or you can create the website blog topic for each FAQ topic and then share that page on social media so that you've got a little blurb, you've got a great image, and the idea is to get people to click through to your website. You increase the traffic to your website, and then people read the article, watch the video, and hopefully reach out to you because you answered their questions so well, now they want to hire you. The email newsletter then is just another layer on that. Once you've got that website blog topic, the article on the website with the the text version of the answer and the video version of the answer, you shared that out on social media, you can go ahead and do an email newsletter to your list featuring that topic. And the email newsletter could be just a paragraph, like a teaser, with a thumbnail of the video, basically saying, a lot of people are asking this, this, and this. We've covered this topic, in a new article on our blog where we tell you, these 5 great tips or whatever. Give a teaser, give them, just enough to pique their interest. Click here for more. That takes them to that article on your website. So you're feeding traffic from your social media, email newsletters, all to that page on your website. You're adding relevant content on a regular basis to your website, which really helps your SEO and increases your ranking on Google. And you're creating this great knowledge database on your website little by little with each new topic that future visitors can find, get their answers, their questions answered, creates a lot of authority, a lot of trust. And that's really the power of these FAQ videos, is they can be used in so many different ways. Fundamentally, uploading to YouTube, that's where you're serving them out. That's where you're embedding that YouTube video in your website. You're sharing that YouTube video potentially on social media. And then, you're doing an email newsletter highlighting that topic and getting people back to your website to the page. So that's kind of the strategy overall for utilizing these. Now, when you're uploading to YouTube, there's a few things that are really important for the SEO, for the search engine optimization of these videos on YouTube. The first is the title. If you've done any research, which you should, in typing in the question that you're answering. And remember, we talked about this as part of your preparation, and you're creating a list of topics and stuff. Take the question that you're answering, think about what is the most likely way that your viewer is going to be typing that into Google to find your video, and go ahead and type that into Google in that particular form, and then see what articles show up and the most common way those are titled by others who are answering that same question, especially the ones that are ranking the highest, because chances are the way they've titled that is the most effective way to draw traffic. Otherwise, they wouldn't be ranked at the top. And then modify the title and the way you're saying the question. A lot of people ask X, that's the title, and then use that as the title in your YouTube. When you're actually uploading it to YouTube, use that question, that particular phrasing as your title. And that's really important, because that title is one of the first things Google looks at to match up how people are searching to your video and how they prioritize what videos they serve out. The second thing is the description in YouTube. You want to go ahead and put a synopsis of your answer to that question in the description. You want to pretty much answer the question in text in the description, so that, because a lot of people will go to YouTube and they'll scan down through that description, and if it looks like it's really covering the content they want, then they watch the video. And also Google indexes that description. So the closer the description is to the actual content of the video, the more, Google's going to index the relevant search words and terms that are in the video. So the description should pretty much contain the content of the video. Then the third thing is ensuring that you're, and this is something really that should happen when you're preparing to film your video, that you're saying keywords and terms frequently, that you're saying those keywords and terms the same way as, as the people are searching them on Google. Because those keywords and terms are that's how Google identifies how relevant your content is to the search. So make sure you're using those keywords and terms throughout your actual video and in the description. And then tags. You want to add tags in YouTube when you're uploading your video. There's a place below where you can add tags. Make sure those keywords and terms are in the tags as well. Because again, that's one more way that Google identifies what is this video really about? What are the main topics that this video is about? And then it's really important to add captions. This is something that is a little tricky to do until you get used to how to do it. YouTube has a menu item there where you can basically automatically have it transcribe your video and create captions. I would do that. I would start with having YouTube transcribe the video for you, but I would definitely go through and edit the captions, because a lot of times the transcription service will get certain words, wrong. It'll divide the sentences out in odd ways. It'll put really strange grammar or punctuation in at times. So go through and edit each line of the transcript of the captions, add proper punctuation, change words that aren't translated correctly, cut a couple words from the next caption and add it to this caption so that the sentences are served out in a way that makes sense, rather than sometimes it'll just take a bunch of words and then the next caption will just be 2 words and then the next caption will be so go through and edit the captions once YouTube automatically creates them, and then you can turn those on. That answers to what Bobby was asking about. So many people are viewing content on mute. They're just, they don't have the sound up as they're scanning through and looking at things, and they'll read the first few lines. They may watch the whole video without any audio, or they may read the first few lines, and if it seems like it's relevant content, then they'll go ahead and turn on the sound. So you definitely want to add captions. One thing I didn't mention in regards to your social media use of these, if you're going to be using these FAQs in your social media, I actually would not share the YouTube link. Instead, upload that video directly to your Facebook page. And you want to also add the captions there. If you have a Instagram, upload the video directly to Instagram and add captions. If, wherever you might, whatever social media platforms are going to be using this, upload the video directly to that platform, because Facebook and YouTube are competitors. And Facebook does not treat YouTube links nicely. Facebook could easily set it up to where when you share a YouTube video, people could click play and watch that YouTube video right within Facebook. but they don't do that because they don't want people using YouTube videos on Facebook. They want you uploading your content directly to Facebook. That way they can encourage you to create that, to make that video an ad and give them money and stuff. So a YouTube link, it shows a little thumbnail and the title, and then they click away from Facebook to go watch it on YouTube. Now, if you're trying to become an influencer and your YouTube channel is really important, your YouTube channel is the key platform that you want to develop, and you want to get views and subscribers, then go ahead and use the YouTube link everywhere, because you want to drive traffic to YouTube in that case. But unless you're really trying to create YouTube, trying to create a influencer status on YouTube, a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, I wouldn't use the YouTube link everywhere else. I would upload the videos directly. So that's kind of the strategy for using these things. Create as many topics as possible. Create a knowledge base on your website with an article, ideally an article and dedicated page for each topic. And go ahead and then share those pages through your social media, upload the videos directly to your social media. And in the description, when you upload the videos directly to social media, in the description, go ahead and include a link to the landing page on your website. Because again, you do want to try to drive traffic to your website as much as possible, even for those who are watching the content on social media. Make sure you're adding your appropriate title, descriptions, keywords, tags, captions. And it's a lot of work, but it will really pay off. I mean, if you'll add a new topic every 2 weeks, once a month at the least frequent, you'll, over time, it will really impact your SEO. It'll really impact your website's ranking, and create, just this really great knowledge base for people who will, as a result, see you as an authority, a trusted authority in your area of expertise. So all in all, it's very, very important strategically. So yeah, that's what I had for the topic. Let's see, do we have any chats, any questions?
Yes, there's some questions that I put in there, Evan, for you. One of the questions that I have always had is when I'm designing a website for a customer, I really don't like YouTube. I understand it helps, but it has its branding, and then it places inappropriate videos of somebody else after it plays through my customer stuff that I don't like. And so I've used Vimeo. Is there any way, could you use Vimeo in your website and then still upload that to YouTube and still keep that going?
For those who want to maintain 2 different channels, you can go ahead and use Vimeo. If you're really picky about how your videos are being presented in your website, go ahead and use Vimeo to serve them out in your website, and then but still post them to YouTube. Okay. That's really important. Don't just use Vimeo. Now, I don't know if you've learned, Bobby, how to use the end screen features in YouTube, but you can control what people see at the end. Instead of them seeing a bunch of other, cat videos and a bunch of other people's content, you can go in there and select other videos in your channel. Right. So at the end screen, they're actually seeing other topics that you offer. And you also can control what's on the screen as far as titles and other clutter. So I would ensure that you're using all the controls and features that YouTube offers to mitigate those things you don't like about YouTube before going off to Vimeo. Okay. But if ultimately you want to have that power and control that Vimeo gives you a lot higher quality playback to, you have a lot more control over how much it's compressed and stuff. So for those who really care about the quality of your content, Vimeo is better in that case too. But you are then maintaining 2 different channels. You're uploading the videos to 2 different places. It's a little extra work. So.
Okay. And then does YouTube have a subscription-based kind of thing where you can pay for it so that you can strip all branding out of it?
Yeah, so YouTube bases the release of more advanced features more on how many subscribers you have than what you pay.
Okay.
So for instance, you have to have 100 subscribers or more in order to create a custom URL for YouTube. You have to have, so many subscribers or more before you can monetize your videos. And so they kind of open up additional features based on the relevancy of your content. I mean, they're assuming that if you've only got 10 subscribers, your content isn't really all that relevant, and they really don't want you to have access to a lot of the more advanced features. But if you've got 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, they assume, okay, not only are they going to make more money off of you, letting you monetize your content on YouTube, but they assume it's more relevant content.
Jim asked the question for you. Does this delivery practice, your best delivery practices that you mentioned, does that change if your market is B2B instead of consumer?
Well, you've got to ask yourself, where are the businesses searching for your services? They're on Google searching those services as well. There might be a slightly different way in which they're framing those searches. A business might search for a particular service rather than asking a question. And so it's really important to know who is your audience, what are they looking for, and what is the most likely form their search is going to take.
Right.
And that's probably the most important question you can ask in this entire process is, what are people searching for? Because if you're answering the question in the wrong way, or you're answering the wrong question, or you're presenting content that nobody's looking for, it's just not going to matter. Nobody's going to find it. It's going to be irrelevant. You're just wasting your time. So make sure that the topics you're selecting are relevant topics that your customer base is actually wanting to know, is searching for, and that the way you're presenting those topics in the question or the description, the title, is the form in which they're searching it. And a business might not be asking the question as much as a consumer. A business may be saying, like, if I'm looking for voiceover talent in Tucson, so I can hire someone to do a voiceover for me, as a business, I would probably type in voiceover talent in Tucson. I might not type in, where can I find someone, a professional voiceover. It may not take the form of a question as much so. So that would be the big difference between B2B.
Evan, one of the things that I would say in terms of B2B, but we use the same practices for B2B, our B2B customers, as our consumer, and it's the exact role model that you just gave us. But there was one aspect that we love to put video in, and that is the Google My Business listing. That most people forget about, and that is huge because they're showing that about 33% of all the customers are coming from your Google My Business listing. So if you don't know what that is, that's when you do a search up on the right-hand side, it'll come your information, your hours, your website. People will press that website button before they'll go down and look for yours.
And that is actually another platform I consider it kind of among your social media platforms, besides Facebook, Instagram. You should be posting this content on your Google My Business page as well, because Google My Business lets you add videos, add photos and images, and these videos, it's really strong content to add to your Google My Business page.
There was another question that Jim had for you, Evan, and that was, why not add the captions in it before you upload it anywhere?
Okay, that's a good question. We call that burning the captions in, If you add captions in the video before you upload it, you do not get the benefit of Google indexing those captions. YouTube does go ahead and transcribe and indexes your video. If you do not do the captions yourself and go in there and edit the captions, there's a good chance that that Google is transcribing your video incorrectly, getting certain words and phrases you're saying wrong. Just like when you're dictating into Siri and it gets completely wrong. This is machine, this is AI, you know, and it's not always going to transcribe your video correctly. If you don't go in there and add the captions yourself, you don't get the benefit of correcting those the way the video is being transcribed so that Google's getting it right. And then you also don't get the benefit of people who may be speaking Spanish or another language, where if you go ahead and transcribe, if you add captions, oftentimes there's a feature where they can click Spanish and it just automatically translates your captions to Spanish. Now, it doesn't always translate them the best way. I don't know if you've ever had someone post something in Spanish and you click the C translation and, you know, it's just, it's enough you can actually understand what they're saying, but it's usually not you know, correct grammar and that kind of stuff. You'll get the same thing when people click Spanish and your captions are converted to Spanish, but at least they can get a pretty good idea of what your video is about. So if you burn your own, first of all, if you burn them in, you have to edit. You have to be editing your own video, which a lot of people may not be doing. They may just be filming their video and uploading it without editing. And then you don't get the benefit of all that.
Okay. I'd like to open it up to the floor. Anybody else had any burning questions they didn't get a chance to ask?
I have a question. So first of all, Evan, I just wanted to say thank you because I worked with you, you know, a year ago. You helped me with how to figure out captions. So I really appreciate this presentation, adding more to it. So I've had my YouTube channel for a year, and all the videos I do are cooking live videos, and they're all through Facebook. And so my topic changes every time because it's a different recipe, right? So I've transcribed through Facebook, has the automatic subtitles, which has really been helpful, but for sure, to your point, you have to go through and look on everything. So you had mentioned that YouTube doesn't like it if you put YouTube on Facebook, or Facebook doesn't like it if you put YouTube on. So is the reverse true? Because I feel like my YouTube channel, I've done all the titles, I've done the tag words, the search words, the descriptions, and I put my name in, I put health coach in, I put everything in, but I feel like it's sort of an apartment that's up for rent that not many people are looking at. So does YouTube have that same feeling like, oh, this is a Facebook video, I don't like it? No,
I mean, YouTube doesn't even know that you've posted the same content on Facebook. Basically, if you're not getting traffic in YouTube, it's either due to the fact that your topical nature is so broad that there's just so many other alternatives out there, and other people are being more effective at building a subscriber base and getting a higher ranking. So when people type in recipe for X, you know, and again, are you anticipating how people are searching for that content? If it's a recipe for lasagna, you know, or vegan lasagna or something like that, whatever it is your title, you know, the best recipe for vegan lasagna, because that's the term people are typing in. So if you're posting videos about specific types of food or recipes for specific foods, or even techniques for cooking and stuff, the title has got to be relevant. I think she disappeared. Anyway, the title's got to be relevant, and chances are what she's encountering is she's competing with so many other people posting the same topics who are ranked higher, and so she's just not getting the traffic, and that's really a tough thing to get over.
Any other questions?
Just a comment, Evan, thank you so much. Look at all my notes. I mean, seriously, you are amazing. I learned so much from you today. Now I just got to do it. So thank
Good,
you.
I'm so glad.
Appreciate it.
The Cindy, that role model that he showed us, the best practices for putting your video up, is exactly. There's so many companies that have wasted so much marketing money on SEO companies to get their name on the top rank, and they're using practices that don't help. And we instituted this exact same thing with our customers, and we're finding if you post blogs and use that blog newsletter system, Facebook, that circle where you're feeding back and forth to each other. One of the last blogs I wrote had 960 people read it for that customer. So, and then they go back to there to read the website. And so now he gets the traffic up on the website, and he's now starting to double the number of customers he gets in. We track everything, so we actually have the verifiable numbers to know exactly what's happening and realize that this is truly what happens is your competitor, if you put in more content, relevant, good content with the video, you will outdo them in the searches all the time. But you have to be willing to put in the content. And so this is where the search words, the kind of stuff we found, titles were very important. If you put in, if Janet is putting in something like, lamb stew, I think Evan's right. There's no way. But if she puts in something like health coach, or healthy or something to do with what she does, and then mentions recipes and then mentions a stew, then you can start getting, you got to figure out the words that are getting traffic.
Yeah, and frankly, on YouTube, there is so much content and so much competition. Those that are spending money doing AdWords are the ones that are going to get listed. Bottom line is, when you have 1,000 other people posting the same topical content as you are, if you're not going to spend some money, probably you're not going to get found in those searches. But that does not mean that content, that those FAQs still aren't extremely valuable, because you're using them throughout your whole thing. Sure, that organic traffic through YouTube is great, but it's not everything that these things are about. It's about creating a knowledge base, creating trust and authority, integrating those into your website, doing the blogs and articles, email newsletter campaigns, sharing on social media. That's really the more important thing about this. And then that organic traffic that comes through YouTube, that's just kind of a bonus.
Yep. The Facebook, I think the last statistics I read is 3% of the traffic comes from Facebook to your website, but that's compared to like 33 from Google My Business listing. But nobody knows that you can post there, put events, put your products in, everything, your services, and talk about it all. So and it's so much easier to do than Facebook, I think.